we want the product should be of a good quality. So there are many processes which are carried out, which are similar to your what do you call that, other products, like you carry out for tablet, like you carry out for your capsules, your liquids, your parenteral preparation. Okay, some of the processes are going to be common. So one of the process which is going to be common is going to be assay of the formulation, isn't it? Now there is no substitute for that. Each and every for example, you are going to prepare a emulsion, you are going to prepare a suspension, you are going to prepare a solution. So whatever tests are there for the emulsion, those tests are applicable for your aerosol product also, for the product concentrate also. Whatever are the tests that are applicable for suspension, because you are preparing a suspension, so suspensions are also need to be evaluated. So whatever test you carry out for evaluating a suspension, those tests should be carried out for your product concentrate. Whatever test you carry out for emulsion, those tests should be carried out for your product concentrate if it is a emulsion. Okay. And if you are preparing a solution, then whatever tests are carried out for solution, those tests should be carried out for the product concentrate. Apart from these tests, there are some tests which are which are common tests, the common tests I talked about. Okay, so which are there for the product concentrate, those all tests should be carried out. Apart from these tests, there are some tests which are very unique. Okay, when it comes to the pharmaceutical aerosols. Okay, what are these tests? Now these tests are, the first test that we are going to study is flammability and combustibility test. Okay, where in which we are going to study about the flash point, and we are going to study about the flame extension or a flashback test, right? Then we are going to study about the physical chemical characteristics of your aerosol. Now these tests are for your aerosols. We are going to also study the tests which are there for your what you call that, for propellant system. We are going to see the tests which are there for your valve, dip tube, and actuator. Okay, so those tests also we are going. But now these tests, whatever we are studying, these are specifically targeted towards your product, that is your pharmaceutical aerosol. So we are going to talk about the physico-chemical characteristics of your aerosol product, which involves the vapor pressure test, the density. We are going to talk about the moisture content that is present inside the aerosol. We are going to see the how you carry out the identification of your propellants. We are going to see how you carry out the concentrate propellant ratio. Now we are going to also see the performance of your aerosol in terms of aerosol ball discharge rate. We are going to study the spray pattern. We are going to study the dosage with the metered ball. Then we are also going to study the net content. We are going to study foam stability test. We are going to study about the particle size determination, and we are also going to study about the leakage, which we already saw during manufacturing. Okay, this we are going to revise. Then we are going to study about the biological characteristics of your aerosol. Here we are going to study the therapeutic activity and toxicity. Let us move ahead with the first test. Okay, that is the flammability and combustibility test. In that, let us see about the flash point test. Okay, now let us see something about first about the flammability and combustibility. Why do you carry out this test? Now we have seen that there are certain propellants, for example, mainly the hydrocarbon propellants, which are flammable in nature. Okay, so we require to provide the guarantee, okay, and for the safety of such products. Guarantee during storage, guarantee of safety during storage, guarantee of safety during transportation. Okay, so hence what we are going to determine that this product during transportation, during storage, and sometimes during use also is what it is quite safe. Okay, so there are a number of tests that have been performed. Two tests that are being widely used are flash point test and flame extension test. Let us move ahead with your flash point test. Okay, now let us first see what is a flash point, right? Now flash point is the minimum temperature, okay, at which a sufficient combustible vapor are formed, okay, of the propellant or of the aerosol. So what you do in this test is you take the propellant, okay, this propellant, the temperature of this propellant is increased. Oh, sorry, you take the aerosol, Okay, the temperature of this aerosol is increased as the temperature of this. First you cool it, okay, so it is in liquid state. Slowly you increase the temperature. As the temperature of this aerosol increases, what is going to happen? Some flames are going to be produced. Okay, so there are going to be flames that are sorry, there are going to be vapors that are going to be produced, and these vapors, you are going to bring in contact with this vapor the flames. Okay, so you bring in contact with this vapor flame. As soon as the flame comes in contact with the vapors at a specific point, what happens is a flash of flame is getting produced. Okay, so a flash appears. That flash is nothing but the flash point of your propellant. So it is a minimum temperature at which sufficient vapors, which kind of vapors? Okay, combustible vapors are produced. Okay, and at this moment, if we introduce a flash, if you introduce a flame, then the flame, then that sample, okay, is going to form a flammable blend, and a flash is going to appear. A flash of what? A flash of flame is going to appear. Okay, what is the meaning of that? It momentarily, the this vapors, they momentarily catch fire. And how is this test carried out? This test is carried out under controlled laboratory, defined laboratory condition. This is about the flash point. Then what is the fire point? If you go on heating this aerosol mixture, okay, which is cool, okay, then there will be a certain temperature at which this material, okay, catches fire. Okay, that is known as your fire point. So it is a minimum temperature under specified conditions again, okay, where the sample material, the aerosol material which is under test, this sample material gets ignited and it starts burning. In flashpoint test, it does not burn. It just produces a flame for some few seconds and then the flame disappears. That is a flashpoint test, whereby it is just producing the flame and it is getting disappeared. Whereas in fire point, the material actually gets ignited. Okay, so that is the flash point and your fire point. The apparatus that is used is known as Cleveland's open cup apparatus or tag open cup apparatus. Okay, now what does it consist of? It consists of the cup. So this is the cup. This is the cup which has been present. Inside the cup, you put your sample, okay, aerosol sample in this case. You have this is covered. This is kept inside a water bath, right? This is kept inside the water bath, which is being heated. Okay, so this again further heats your what you call that, the cup and the material that is present inside it. This material is stirred. Okay, the temperature is being noted. You want to note the temperature, minimum temperature at which the flash is going to be produced. So the temperature has been measured. The temperature of water bath is also getting measured. Okay, and then you require something to ignite. Okay, so this is the flame, ignition flame. Okay, that is present over here. So this is nothing but Cleveland's open cup apparatus, or it is also known as tag open cup apparatus. It is known as, there are two types. One is open cup and one is closed cup. So as this container is open, okay, this cup is open from top, hence it is known as tag open cup apparatus. So this is from where the flame is getting introduced. This is introducing the flame. This is the cup in which the aerosol sample is going to be placed. This is the assembly which is going to heat your propellant and your aerosol, and the vapors are going to be produced. Okay, let us see the video of your flashpoint test. As I have written over here, please do not try to carry out this test at home. This is a raw test. Okay, this is not actually the Cleveland's Cup apparatus, or this is not your what you call that Tago Cup apparatus. This is kerosene. Okay, this is not your actual material. He's testing the flash point of kerosene. Tag Open Cup is also known as TOC, short form. Can you see the flash? Now this is fire point. Okay, because it has caught fire. Earlier one was the flash point. Okay, this one is the fire point, but it is already it has caught the fire. Okay. Now let us see the
Welcome to the US Polyco Best Practices video series. This
Cleveland's
video is to
apparatus.
demonstrate how to perform a flash point with USP material. At US Polyco, we work with the highest quality materials for our products. We ensure the quality of your product from start to finish because many of our materials
They are testing the flash point for their material.
Give tailored just the right assay of test to help you reach the level of performance required by your customer. The flash point is a measure of the tendency of the test material to form a
This is the actual Cleveland's apparatus.
For this test are a flash point test cup, torch or lighter, scraper, Cleveland Open Cup flash machine, timer and safety equipment. This test is run at elevated temperatures, and it is very important to follow all safety procedures. Testing should be performed in a draft-free room. A draft shield also helps. The Cleveland Open Cup machine should be set up on a level surface. Clean the test cup with a solvent and remove any carbon deposits as necessary. Ensure the cup is clean and dry before using it. The thermometer should be supported vertically so that the bottom of the thermometer is 1/4 inch from the bottom of the inside of the test cup and halfway between the center and the side of the test cup. Heat your sample material until it is pourable, but no higher than 100 degrees Fahrenheit below.
Now they have heated the sample. What we have to do in case of aerosol products is we have to cool our sample. Okay, so that it can be converted into liquid, and then we have to put it into the cup. So that is a little bit change that we have to do. This they are doing for their material, not for aerosols or propellants.
The expected flash point. Keep the sample to be tested in a closed container until it is ready to be poured to minimize the loss of volatile material. Fill the test cup with the sample so that the top of the meniscus is level with the filling margin and place in the heating plate. It is important that the cup is kept clean and that the asphalt is fluid when it is added. Turn on the machine and light the flame, adjusting it so that it has a diameter of 1/8 to 3/16 inches. Apply heat so that the rate of rise is 9 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit per minute.
So these are the flames that are produced. Sorry, these are the vapors that are produced.
so that the rate of rise during the last 50 degrees Fahrenheit is 9 to 11 degrees Fahrenheit per minute. Material is approximately 50 degrees Fahrenheit below the expected flash point, and every 5 degrees Fahrenheit after, apply the test flame in smooth, continuous motion past the flame across the center of the cup. Note that this should take 1 second to pass over the cup. If any film forms on the surface of the asphalt, carefully push it to the side before applying the flame.
This is for their product.
When a large flame appears at any point on the surface and
See,
instantaneously propagates itself over the surface, a blue halo or enlarged flame may appear but does not count as the flash point. After recording your results, allow the machine to cool to a safe temperature before removing the test cup and cleaning. Here are a few key points to remember. The flash point cup should be filled no more than the marked line. Constantly check your temperature rate of rise. Sweep the flame every 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Any film that forms on the surface, the material has flashed when a flame propagates across the surface. Thank you for viewing US Polyco's best practices video.
now this is the procedure. In the procedure, what you have to remember first is, that you cool the temperature of the aerosol product to almost 25 degree Fahrenheit. 25 degree Fahrenheit is equivalent to near about negative 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so you have to cool the temperature. Then after cooling the temperature, you have to first clean the cup and put the product. It may be a sample, or it may be the aerosol, or it may be the propellant. For whichever sample you are carrying out the flash test, you are going to put it into it. You are going to put the thermometer into the holder. Okay, for checking the for checking the temperature, you have to take care, as shown in the video, that you are not going to touch the metallic cup. Then you are going to slowly start heating the sample. Okay, as the sample is getting heated, the vapors are going to be thrown out. Okay, the heating should be very constant at the rate of near about 10 degree per minute. Okay, so that should be the heating. Then slowly what you're going to do is, as the vapor starts coming out, then you are going to introduce the test flame onto the sample, okay, without touching the surface. Then you should have to watch for the flash, okay, with the flickering sound. So as soon as so you are going to slowly and steadily, at every as they have said, that every 3 degree rise in Fahrenheit, what you are going to do is, you are going to introduce the flame onto it, okay, for a quick moment of time. Then what you're going to see is, you are going to see the flash, or you are going to flash of flame, or you are going to see the flickering sound, or both. Okay, that is after noticing that, you are going to note the temperature, and that temperature is going to be the flash point of your product. Okay, so this is about the flash point test. If you further go on heating, you will also get the fire point of that particular product. Okay, now this, whatever we talked about earlier, was about the open flash cup point tester. So this is open cup. You have another method whereby you have the cup that is getting closed, so that is known as closed cup flash point tester. Now usually you will see that open cup usually gives a flash point which is higher, okay, than the closed cup. It is because some of the vapors are getting lost from it, okay, in the atmosphere, and because of that, usually the open cup gives the higher flash point, right? Hence, most of the time, in order to get the proper precise flash point, closed cup assessment are usually preferred. Okay, the example of the apparatus is known as Penske Martin's flash point tester. This is Penske Martin's flash point tester. Okay, now this is the working of it. This is the apparatus. Now when he's rotating this, when he's rotating this, now what is happening is, the what you call that, the top of the cup, it is getting opened. Okay, so from there we are going to introduce the flame. He has not shown the working, but the apparatus has explained nicely. Okay, so that's why I'm showing it to you. He has not actually worked on this machine. So he's closing it now. This is in the closed position. Okay, now your contents are not exposed to your flame. As soon as it turns the knobs, what happens is your contents are getting exposed to the flame. So now it is open. Now your contents are getting exposed to the flame that is present over here, and you can see if any flame, flash or flame is getting produced. Okay. Now this was about the open cup and the closed cup method. Okay, that was about the flash point. Now the second test that is getting you perform for checking the combustibility and flammability of your product is your flame projection test. In flame projection test, what you do is you take the aerosol product, and this aerosol product is sprayed on the candle which is having flame. Okay, so on the flame you what you call it, you press your aerosol product. Okay, you expose your aerosol product for about 4 seconds, right, and from a distance of near about 6 inch. What happens is, whatever is the flame of the candle, because of the aerosol product, okay, this flame is going to increase. There is going to be extension of this flame. The extension of this flame is measured in terms of length, in terms of centimeter. How much is the extension or increase of this length? Okay, that you are going to check, right? The aerosol is considered to be flammable if the flame extends to near about 18 inches, okay, or 46 centimeter. If that much is the extension or that much is the increase of the flame, then you call it as a flammable aerosol. Okay, also if the flame, okay, goes back towards the actuator, so what you have is you have a candle over here. Okay, so you have a candle over here and you have the aerosol knob over here. What you are going to spray is you are going to spray aerosol onto it, right? You are going to spray aerosol onto it. So what happens is the flame, it extends. You are going to carry, you are going to see what is the length of this extension, right? This is the first thing that you do. The second thing what happens is the flame, it moves back towards the actuator. Okay, it flashes back towards the actuator, right? This is known as flashing back. Okay, or this is known as flashback. So any flashback, then definitely it is a flammable product. Or if there is an increase in this flame by near about 18 inch, then also you can call this product as a flammable product. Okay, now this product, now this product, the first product they are using is, they are checking their product, which is HCS 1944. They are using a candle and this product is not flammable. Okay, if you see, no flame is getting produced. They will use another product in comparison. Okay, So they are testing HCS 1944 versus HCS 2012. And you see HCS 2012 is flammable, whereas HCS 1994 is not flammable. So there is no extension of the flame over here. Now see the next product. Just see the extension of the flame. Got it? This was your flame projection test. Now this is another product, okay, for your solstice propellant. Okay, they are checking this propellant. They are trying to prove that their propellant is not having any, is not flammable.
3065-01 test method. The first set of tests you will see use a misting valve, which disperses product in a fine mist over a broad area, such as in hairspray. This test, HFC 134A, is sprayed through the flame using a misting valve. The flame is extinguished immediately. Solstice propellant sprayed through the flame using a misting valve exhibits similar behavior to HFC 134A, extinguishing the flame immediately. HFC 152A is sprayed through the flame using a misting valve. There is a small extension, but not enough to be considered flammable. The flame is not extinguished. The next set of tests use a streaming valve, which is commonly used in products like wasp and hornet spray. HFC 130A sprayed through the flame with a streaming valve extinguishes the flame immediately. Solstice propellant sprayed through the flame using a streaming valve exhibits similar behavior to HFC 134A, extinguishing the flame immediately. When HFC 150 flame using a streaming valve, there is a large extension with flashback toward the can. This to learn solar can successfully replace HFC 152A or HFC 134A in your aerosol products.
So this is how they are advertising their solstice propellant. Okay, got it? Saying that this solstice propellant is not flammable and hence it can be used in your product and you can replace your propellant with your solstice propellant. Okay. Flash now, how the flashback takes place. So this is the flashback where the flame is moving towards the what? Towards the actuator. Can you see? The flame has moved to the actuator.